Arthur, have you ever seen my garden at my house?
What do we have here? I want to try this. Can I have a fork?
You hungry?
I'm actually starved.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put some food in the oven so that we can fuel ourselves to keep going and get the rest of this built.
Yeah.
And we can put those on top too.
Jalapenos. Those are so good.
They are so good. Mashed potatoes, broccoli, and that's all for now.
Sounds good.
Leftovers from my dinner last night.
Awesome, thank you.
We're gonna go take my compost out. I want to show Arthur the little part of my garden. My roommates have this giant garden, but I have a couple beds and I planted some green beans super late. Just a few plants. I was like, I want to eat some fresh green beans. And I got a bunch the other day, a big handful.
I actually remember when you told me you were planting them, and I was like, "What?" Like, I think you were planting them at the time when we were picking all of ours, and we were about to tear our plants out. That's when you planted your green beans. Are they covered with bugs or no?
No.
Because the bugs are like an earlier summer thing. I've heard that over and over. If you plant your beans late, they won't get slammed by the bugs.
Yeah, it's like a whole nother. I mean, for me, it was my only green bean harvest, but could be a whole nother one.
That's really neat. I want to show you all this if you can see it. This is our hot sauce recipe from our fermenting course, and this one takes forever to ferment, and it overflowed a little, which happens a lot with ferments. But look down in here at the salt that overflowed out of it. It's formed these beautiful square crystals, and guess what? They're really tasty. And very spicy. It's sticky from the sugar and maybe this whatever it is.
Carrots
it's amazing.
Peppers. But it also like overflowed, and I didn't clean it up right away.
Yeah.
And it dried out, so it's like crystallized hot pepper jelly.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it makes me remind you of like a Mexican candy. They have like these spicy, salty candies.
I think
super
it's
good.
Yeah, I think it's so pretty, and it makes me wonder, you know how you can create like candy and you do certain things to like seed the shape that either sugar or salt crystallize into? Yeah. I just wonder, like, what does that mean about hot peppers that they seeded these beautiful, like, they're square but they're like faceted salt crystals. It's so
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, I've never seen that. Anna and I are putting in one final push to finish our Fermenting Foundations course. We're mostly just working on the course content. We're mostly editing video and proofreading all the documents, and then we're starting to put them up onto the platform where the course is hosted. As we're actually Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we're actually less than 3 days away from all that info actually being launched to all the people who jumped in and already joined the course. So we're getting to this point of this, I feel this huge anticipation. It's been a lot of stress, but right now we're like about to cross over into the just celebration mode. Like, yes, we did it, it's launched, and now we can actually just like dig in with our students and go through the material. So I'm getting through this. I'm just right now feeling this little release of the stress of all the work that went into it and saying like, okay, we're almost there. It's actually helpful to have all those students on board because we've actually gotten emails and stuff from them, and they're super excited about what they're going to learn. So it's fun. Tonight's been fun. We got to take Anna's compost out to her garden.
It's gotten a little full. My friends that live next door just told me that you can cut these are banana trees or plants or whatever. You can cut these down and the center core is edible? I didn't try it, but pretty cool.
They're about to freeze and wilt, so
I know, it's time.
Do it soon if you're gonna.
Yep. So we want to invite y'all to come join us Sunday night, 9 p.m. We're gonna go live. and have a little celebration party, kind of launch party. Also answer all your fermentation questions live.
Is it a worm bin or is it just a...
No, it's a curated compost bin. This would actually be a really cool video if you...
What is a curated compost bin?
It's my friends that have, my friends that have created most of this garden. She's just really into composting and getting like really nice compost. So she's got, this is like where it all goes. She's got leaves, dry leaves. I'm pretty sure this is probably goat or cow manure. And then there's like the old bin that's covered, it's composting, and then this one.
Oh, beautiful.
So.
That's cool. You know, that's my favorite breed of duck.
Really? What kind is it?
I think they're silver apple yards.
Oh, nice.
They're so beautiful.
Yeah, they're sweet. They're really awesome.
The live video is 9 p.m. Sunday Eastern Time on our channel. It's for everyone. We're going to talk about the course because we're launching the course. We're excited about it. But we're going to try to spend the majority of our time answering fermenting questions and talking about fermenting in general. I think I want to pull out all of our recipes too that we've done, actually pull the ferments out and taste them throughout it.
I like it.
We'll probably do it for about an hour, so 9 to 10 Eastern Standard Time.
Have you ever seen my garden at my house?
I haven't seen it this year.
Okay,
I think I saw it another year.
This is my garden bed. The next one over is also mine. The rest are my friends. But as you can see, I'm kind of a freeform gardener. Most of what's growing in here are perennials or volunteers, including these cherry tomatoes. This is a ton of wild arugula that I planted 2 years ago, I think, and it's actually like grown up all around the garden bed. Still coming in.
Tiny cherry tomatoes, cool.
Mm-hmm. Here's the wild arugula, it's all blooming. I don't eat a ton of this, it's super bitter. But here's some of my green beans. Just a couple bushes. There's still some beans coming in. Here's some stuff I actually planted this year. Some chard, beets, and collards. And my favorite thing that I grow in my garden is cilantro. And it's awesome. Everywhere because I planted it 1 year. It grows, it goes to seed. I just like shake the dead plant off everywhere, and then it's like growing out of the mulch all around here and in the garden bed. And I'm all about that.
That's really cool.
I like to make a salad that's about 50% cilantro.
That one is so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
That's amaranth?
Yeah, I think.
Pretty sure it's a purple amaranth.
I think it is, yeah.
That's a beautiful kitty.
She's amazing. I love her so much. So the other cool kind of comeback hero in my garden is this. It's a summer spinach. It's New Zealand spinach. It's really good cooked, not so great raw. I am definitely shivering. It's chilly out here. But yeah, it just comes back and it just grows like crazy. And it's spread to neighboring gardens. And so now my friends have tons to pick as well. One little fermenting fun fact for you guys, I have not tried this, but I read about it from a reputable source, is that you can use nasturtium leaves in your ferment, just added to your ferment, and it's kind of like adding spices to your ferment. It discourages mold growth.
That's so cool. It's such a beautiful plant too.
Yeah, totally.
I just weed-eated all of mine yesterday. Weed-eated a bunch of my garden. I'm like tarping it and letting it just rot all down.
Nice.
The smell was so strong when they ran through it, when the weed eaters.
Speaking of the smell, I just got it with
Have your bin?
It's bad. I think that's crispy rice in there.
There's an apple on the tree.
Yeah.
I have apple trees almost that big.
Apple trees?
Apple trees.
Sounds like Hilder.
Hilder. Brianna actually told me, she said, if I was your customer, I wouldn't know what your fermenting course is about. So we're going to spend like 3 minutes. And I guess we can sit here. I had this set up because I reshot a piece of one video after a conversation I had on the phone with a guy named Fred Bright, who's a microbiologist with the USDA. And I called him, asked him some questions on the phone. And then actually I said, hey, I need to go back and change some of my content. Not because I was wrong about any of it, but because I want to be extremely careful with the information I offer. And so I tweaked a little bit of the course material after my discussion with him so that I'm 100% happy with it. And I'm glad we did that. What is that?
This is tofu.
I've never seen tofu that ugly.
Thank you. Yeah.
You didn't make it, did you?
It's no, it's a tofu product. It's like baked or lightly browned.
I think we ate more tofu than the average American growing up because we ate some. I don't dislike it at all, actually. I actually like it.
Yeah, it's just beans with a couple things done to them. Yeah, so that's why I think it'd be cool to go live and just give people a little like tip about that and talk about salt, because everybody always has more questions about salt.
Why is that, I wonder?
Oh, because
I found that to be true also.
Because it's like one of the two or three ingredients in your ferment, and I think people really want to get it right.
Oh yeah.
And yeah.
That looks really good. It smells really good too. What kind of squash are those? Are those from your garden this year or last year?
Those grew in my garden last year.
Wow.
I harvested those almost an entire year ago.
That's amazing.
Those are Seminole squash. This was I had some moments with the seed catalog 2 years ago in the winter, and man, I saw this listing for this seed for Seminole squash, and I just was like captivated because it is a hard winter squash. I forget which family it is in. I think the same as butternut, and it's like I was looking for squash that lasts really well because I don't really put up stuff from the garden so much besides fermenting a bit. And so I was like, ooh, I want something that will keep through the winter because most of what I grow is just greens and I eat them. And anyway, this squash is called Seminole squash because it was grown back in the day by the Seminole Indians in Florida. And what I've read is that they're like kind of down in marshy areas, and they'd ring pine trees so that the pine tree died, and then grow the squash up the pine tree. Wow. And this thing like will take over your whole yard. It like people are like, oh yeah, I've grown winter squash, but like more so than any other winter squash I've ever grown. It just goes, and it's giant leaves, and then they'd have these squash like hanging down out of the pine trees, and I guess they'd fall, and they're hard enough like they wouldn't be hurt by that at all. They're like a year later still. Anyway. That's amazing. Beautiful. So what's the white stuff on the top of the jalapeno peppers? I think it's just a yeast. I'm going to give it it smells yeasty. It's like, what's it called? Camo yeast, or how does it pronounce? I think it's con yeast. Kahm. Yeah. Spell check doesn't like that word, I've found recently. But, it's totally harmless though, right? It is harmless. It can affect the flavor of the ferment, so when you see that it's forming, if you're still gonna be fermenting for a while, it's good to remove it. But those have the smoked salt in them too, don't they? They do. Yeah. The reason why I ended up coming down here today and working on the fermenting course is Bree and I were talking about it, and I was trying to do homestead work today, housework today, and work on the fermenting course, and then do both of those tomorrow. And I was like, why not just do one today and then focus mostly at home tomorrow? So that's why I ended up. Anyway, it's way better for everyone. Yeah, batch that stuff up. So our 3 minutes starts now. Our 3 minutes, Brianna said, hey, you need to tell people what the course is and what it's about, because
barely talked about it on the YouTube channel. So first off, we have a course on fermenting vegetables, and it's launching on Monday. It'll be available to join until this coming Sunday night at midnight. Fermenting is adding salt to vegetables in brine or just dry salt, allowing bacteria to grow in them, which creates an acidic environment and preserves them and changes their flavor and makes them amazing.
So we're calling this our beta launch because this is our first time to invite students to our course. We've just created it. It's been, just as in over the last 2 or 3 months. We're so excited to have our first batch of students. We're about to start on Monday.
Because people are coming into our course for the first time, they're actually doing us a favor because they're going to give us feedback on the course and they're going to help us modify it and make it as close to perfect as possible. In trade for that help, not only are we providing what we both think is actually a really solid course, an introduction to fermenting vegetables, a bunch of recipes, a bunch of resources. Because it's a beta launch, we're also offering a really high level of support. A lot of people have some fear or trepidation in relation to fermenting, and so we're going to be there for the people who are in the course. We're going to answer questions actively, be responsive on a much higher level than I think we probably ever would be selling this course in the future.
I know I'm getting even more inspiration on ways that we can show up for our students than we had already planned out.
You were just telling me that this week you want to put out a live video specifically addressing 2 issues that we touched on in the course, but you wanted to dig into them deeper for people who want more info, and that was on salt choices and water choices. Like you were telling me about a different type of chlorinated water that you can't let the chlorine evaporate out of it.
Some towns have switched to how they're chlorinating their water supplies, and it's much harder to get the chlorine out. So they can be valuable to even just a few people, and I have it, that information is in the course. It's written up in a document, but I just thought it'd be great to bring that to our group.
I think our 3 minutes is just up. But this is actually kind of more personal. It's actually really interesting looking forward towards the course and actually not knowing how it's going to go. What I'm hoping is that we'll have most people go through the material and like really get a lot out of the material, but what I'm hoping is that the Facebook community that we're creating along with it will be thriving and it'll be really fun. Like it'll be something that actually encourages people like in their daily life. For 3 weeks where they're investing a few hours in it a week, but they're getting a lot out of it and just like learning, interacting. So I can imagine it being really fun, especially for those live type things with actually a relatively small audience. Okay, back to work.
Let's do this.
Ooh, 8:30. Okay.
Doing great.
Yeah, I think we're doing good. So we're basically sitting down reviewing videos now and actually going through them and kind of doing some final editing pieces.
By the time you finish this course, you will be enjoying your own delicious fermented vegetables.
Do it!
Let's go!
I think it looks great. That one was kind of goofy, but I think it's awesome.
Yeah, totally. How you feeling?
Good. I don't feel like I got that much. I think it's funny I came down here. I don't feel like I got that much done. But then we got a lot done.
We did. We got super clear on priorities for what to get done today. We each have a great list of like checklist basically.
Yeah.
You really upped the quality of like our safety recommendations we're making.
Yeah.
I think today specifically.
Yeah, we're making progress, and we're all.
You taught me how to export videos
That's true.
and troubleshoot Adobe.
That is true.
That's a lot going on.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us, and I hope you'll join us on Sunday night for our live stream. If you're interested in more information on our fermenting course, I'll put a link right at the top of the video description below this video. All right, y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.